Hey there, beer tubers.
Hey!
Hey, beer tubers. Welcome back to Beer Analysis 101 with your host, Maxwell Starr. Great panel here tonight. Actually, one of the better ones we've had in weeks now, considering
I'm here.
Yeah, we've got Greg here tonight. I guess everybody can go home now.
Yep.
Actually, no. Let's take a look at tonight's beer. We are going to all the way to the land of the rising sun with Sapporo, Japanese premium beer. But first of all, let's introduce the panel here tonight, and with hopefully somebody who's not going to give us too much of a thick accent. Lee of They Must Be Shot on Sight, who loves films like Samurai and stuff like that.
Sapporo beer number one mega clash.
Jesus Christ. Domo arigato there, Lee. And also we got Craig from Kent Beer Reviews as well. How you doing tonight? Still awake, I see.
All good, all good. Yeah, interesting. But yeah, let's give it a go. Thanks for having us on.
And we've got Mr. Greg. How you doing tonight, Greg? We've already been introduced to you, but we might as well talk to you again.
I'm doing great, and since I don't think anyone's said it yet, I hope this show doesn't bomb tonight.
How come you're not wearing your ski mask? Aren't you the beer burglar now?
No, this is just Greg. I don't know who the identity of the beer burglar is, but you know what? Maybe he'll make an appearance later. I don't know, but
that's
definitely not me.
80s or 90s. I never guess my secret identity. Anyway, moving along over to Beer Zerker, or rather Jamie of Basement Beer Reviews. How are you doing tonight, Jamie? Jamie's
Thanks for having me on, Nick. Looking forward to this beer.
Right. And also, we've got Mr. Ashley Sexton, who isn't last tonight.
Konnichiwa, bitches.
Nice shirt.
Thank you. This is all for my wife. She did this. Cut the sleeves.
What's the shirt? Hold that up.
So this is the Albino Rhino Sex Fest 2019. What bitches?
I'm so upset I don't have one of those right now. Chad, I'm going to make you get married again just for that.
Yeah, all right. And of course, last but certainly not least, and it's so glad to have you back, Chad. We've got the albino rhino here. His royal whiteness is himself. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, tonight I am just peachy keen, sir. Thank you for having me.
I heard why you're very happy tonight. But we'll talk about that later. All right.
So what's going on below the camera?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Something to do with Ashley's shirt, probably.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get off to the story of Sapporo premium beer. Bring my notes up here. So Sapporo, in the 1860s, in the aftermath of the Meiji Restoration, Japan was undergoing westernization at a rapid pace. In 1869, the Meiji government began development of the northern Japanese island of Hokkaido. One such business was to be a brewery. In 1876, C.B. Nakagawa had recently returned from studying the art of brewing in Germany and was chosen as brewmaster to oversee construction of a new modern beer factory. In September 1876, the Kaitakushi brewery opened business, and Sapporo Lager was born, prominently displaying the pioneer symbol, the North Star, on the label. That's what the star is. And in 1886, the local government was established on the island of Hokkaido, and the brewery was subsequently privatized and renamed by its new owners to the Sapporo Brewery Factory. In 1887, another brewery, the Japan Beer Brewery, the Japan Brewery, located in the suburbs of Tokyo, began producing Yebisu beer. That comes in a moment here. By the turn of the 20th century, the competition between Sapporo, Japan Beer, as well as Osaka Beer, which is today's Asahi Company, and Kirin breweries led to the 1906 merger of Sapporo, Japan, and Osaka breweries into the Dai Nippon Beer Company, which held a whopping 70% share of the Japanese market until the end of World War II. In 1949, during the rebuilding of post-war Japan, the Dai Nippon Alliance was split by the Japanese government's Economic Decentralization Act into Nippon Breweries and Asahi Breweries. Although Nippon Breweries was the legal heir to the Yebisu and Sapporo brands, they first restarted production with Nippon beer. However, Japanese beer lovers longed for the revival of Sapporo beer, and in 1956, Sapporo beer production was restored to the island of Hokkaido. The move was successful enough that Nippon Breweries changed its name to Sapporo Breweries in 1964. Sapporo would follow on the success of reviving Yebisu beer as a premium brand in 1971, which would become the first 100% barley brew made in post-war Japan. In 2006, Sapporo purchased Canadian brewery Sleeman's for a $400 million cash deal, with John W. Sleeman staying on as president. Sapporo would also buy California-based brewery Anchor Brewing in August of 2017. That's the most recent news. Other beers, of course, from Sapporo include Yebisu beer, as I just mentioned, Sapporo Black Label, which is a draft beer in a black can introduced in 1977. There's a Sapporo Light, a Sapporo Reserve, and another one that I really wish I could get here, which is Sapporo Premium Black Beer, which is their dark lager, which just for some reason sounds interesting. And also they have ownership of Sleeman and therefore Unibrew, as well as Anchor products in North America. Sapporo also produced a beer from space barley in 2006, using barley grown from seeds that had spent 5 months aboard the International Space Station. Tasters reported that the flavor was no different. Big surprise than the normal Sapporo. However, researchers pointed out that this meant that there were no effects of the seeds during extended space flights. So Sapporo Premium Beer is a 4.9% ABV pale lager brewed with primarily rice as an adjunct. Sapporo claims that the beer does contain barley, and the boiling and brewing process removes all of the gluten content, making the beer functionally gluten-free, but still not fully safe for those with celiac disease. Sapporo beer for the North American market is brewed by Sleeman Brewery in Guelph, Ontario, although I did notice that Ashley tonight's got a can that it was brewed at their Vietnam brewery, and I forget the name of it. I didn't write it down because I didn't think we'd be dealing with any international flavors of cans.
Ho Chi Minh Trail Brewing.
Exactly. Actually, that's a good question for Craig. We'll talk to him in a second, but might as well start with you, Lee, since you're speaking up. How are you? What's your history with Sapporo?
Oh, Sapporo, very good. Number one. I must have had this about 10 to 15 years ago, probably for the first time. Can't remember when. I didn't do the usual research I do with this stuff to see when my first review was. I remember generally liking this all right. You know, it's kind of always just been kind of like the Budweiser of Japan, I guess, is kind of the way most people probably think of it. I've had Kirin and Asahi as well, and not much different, really. But yeah, it's always just been something that's been available. Used to be able to get it in the big 8,000 sided cans that you can knock out your friend with or your enemy with, whatever. Had it in bottles as well at one point, and now we just have these little Sleeman Sapporo cans, and that's a little disappointing, but there we go. That's my history with it.
Right on. And now on to Craig. Now, the reason why I was bringing up Craig here is that considering you're in the UK, where's yours brewed at?
It's brewed in Vietnam as well.
Huh,
It's distributed throughout Europe via London, apparently, according to the back of this.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there you go. Surprisingly as well. Yeah, a lot of these kind of global brands, they've got somewhere in the UK where they brew it.
Yeah. Well, I guess it makes sense for the North American market. They would get Sleeman to brew it for them, but they probably don't have the production to do it internationally like their Vietnam factory does. And of course, they do still brew it in Sapporo, Japan as well. But anyway, go ahead. What's your history with this beer?
I've never had this before, believe it or not. I've seen it many, many years just sitting on the shelf and thought, well, nice looking can, I suppose. It's different. But this is the old, I guess, the ones that are brewed in or made in Vietnam are this shape. And
yeah, that's the old solid, like thick metal aluminum can. They're
pretty
heavy duty enough to not be used as a weapon, kind of.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. But yeah, I've just walked past it loads of times, even when I was like full on lager drink. I thought, nah, there you go. I don't know what was back then though, even though it's not my kind of go-to sort of style, if you like. But yeah, see how it goes in a bit.
Right on. All right, and next up, of course, we got Greg. What's your history on Sapporo? Have you had this before? And
Ooh, the mute button. How embarrassing. Yeah, I had it once before. I think I just sort of got it last summer just to try, since I had never had it, and it's kind of one of the bigger of the macro beers. It's the only time I've tried it before, and that's my history. Very exciting.
It's not really an in-depth history, just history. Sounds exciting. Anyway, move over to Beer Zerker. What's your history with this beer?
This beer is actually one of the first beers I remember having. I was probably somewhat underage, and it was actually, I remember it being a party. It was like one of my parents, it was either like a birthday party or an anniversary, and someone brought over a can of it, but it was a large can, and I actually Googled Sapporo beer 1980s. And then about halfway down on the page, you'll see the can. It's a large can. It has a twist-off lid, and there's like a big kind of like a steel handle on it. And it was quite large, so it would probably be similar to like, I don't know, 3 or 4 cans of beer within this one big can. And someone opened it at the party and gave me a little bit of it, and I loved it. And had it a few times after that when I was of age, and then haven't had it for many years, and probably about 2 years ago I bought a can, tried it, and I didn't like it for whatever reason, but I'm having a little bit of a different experience right now. So yeah, I've had a long history, but I've only had it a few times, so that's it.
Is that the can you're talking
about? 100%. That's the one right there.
Pretty neat. It's like a metal growler kind of thing.
Yeah, and for the longest time, we actually had that can still at my parents' place, but you know, that was probably 20 years ago. It got thrown out. So, but yeah, that was the one.
The 90s were crazy.
Yep.
All right, and we'll move along to Mr. Sexton. What's your history of Sapporo?
Drinking this, I've never had it before. Well, actually, you know what? I probably have had it. Probably, at a restaurant somewhere. I don't know. I don't ever remember buying this from the LCBO. Funny though, I have a similar story to Jamie in that, I remember growing up back in the 90s, and for whatever reason, my mom had kept a can of like this exact same can. I think it maybe even, I remember it being a little bit bigger. I don't know. But for whatever reason, back in the early 90s, she had a can of this, and she cleaned it out and kept it for some strange reason. And it was just sort of sat around. And so that's my only connection with Sapporo, was just having this fucking empty can of beer kicking around the house for fucking years. So yeah, other than that, this is the first time I've ever had it to my memory. But I'm positive I've had it before. But yeah, we'll call this day number 1.
Nice. All right, and of course, last but certainly not least, and I imagine you've got a pretty extensive history, don't you? What's your history with this beer, Chad?
So the first time I actually ever bought this beer, I was 19, and we bought it because my buddy Kent had a Mitsubishi Sapporo, which was a car that existed from 78 to 84, and then it came back into existence in 87 for 1 year. But yeah, so he had that, so we bought it for him, going, "Hey, look, it's your car." And originally the corrugated metal cans were the ones that were being brewed in Sleeman's. Now apparently they're the ones being brewed in Asia, and these are the ones being brewed at Sleeman's. The cans are great. You can make stilts out of them. You can get your drunk friends to try and break them on their head and see what happens. It's good times. It was a lager. It's probably still just going to be a lager.
Did your buddy Kent run Craig's beer reviews?
No, he did not.
Is that that's the car right there?
That is the car right there.
Nice.
Cool. Sweet looking motor vehicle.
That is a sweet ride.
That's mine.
Oh, that would have been actually pretty nice back in, what's that, from the 80s or something?
Yeah, that would have been early 80s because the coupe stopped being in existence in 84.
Ah,
Be
nice.
like a kamikaze in that car. Be awesome.
Okay, shut up. Oh, don't bomb this.
Smashing.
Anyway, all right. So let's get down to my history of Sapporo. And I remember I didn't have this until like it was like 2009, 2010 when I was starting to experiment with trying different types of beer. And I think I tried Sapporo around the same time that I tried Warsteiner, which is like the German Pilsner, which is like late to 2009, I think was when I first had it. And the reason why I kind of tie it with Warsteiner is because I always thought of Sapporo as being similar to Warsteiner in that it was a nice like Pilsner style lager with a nice really clean finish, and I really appreciated it. That was of course way back then. I also I reviewed it as review was it number 64 on my channel way back in 2011, and then I don't think I had it again since until recently. But I do kind of look back at this beer as a fond memory because of that. And one thing I did notice is that these used to come in these pretty heavy duty cans, as you guys have been talking about, the ones from Vietnam, where they're still the weapons grade aluminum they had before. These ones, even though these are much cheaper, they're still actually pretty nice and premium, where it's got this nice satiny finish and an embossed star and Japanese characters on the side, and what feels like thicker than usual aluminum. So it's still a nice can, but I do miss the knocker, the big giant cans. Anyway, my thoughts on this one tonight I won't get into in a bit, but we might as well go over to the multitude of comments there. Does anybody want to read other than Greg? Lee?
I want to read.
Lee?
I got him. Fuck you, Greg.
Oh.
You didn't even wear your uniform tonight, so fuck you. Raining on Your Parade says Sapporo Premium $3.99 for a 22-ounce can here in Maine.
Brutal. Actually, that's really not bad.
Yeah. Paul's in here. He says, I looked, but thank the gods I couldn't find a can or bottle of this. Someone mute the fucking beer burglar. All right.
Find that. There you go.
Paul says, God, he's still talking. I think he was in reference to your history there, Nick. Raining on Your Parade says, yo, oh, never mind. That's inner chat talk. It doesn't matter.
Can't rush great.
Drunken One's in here, and he says, basically, he's saying this panel looks like America's Most Wanted.
Canada's Most Wanted.
Yeah, I guess. Jaded Diva Beer Reviews and Tours is in here, laughing at Drunken One's jokes. Hey, that's great. Drunken One's got someone to laugh at his jokes for him for once. Raining on Your Parade says his can is brewed in Vietnam as well. Anything else? Eric Gilbert's in here saying cheers. Raining on Your Parade says nice. Albino on Beer 101. And Justin Tinker says Nick on knockers and big giant cans 2018. There you go.
Hey, Justin.
Those are the comments.
It's a t-shirt right there.
Yep. And gonna have to do that like the Nick knockers. Wait, okay. All right, so moving right along, do we have anybody ready to give their final thoughts on this? And I think Lee's giving the thumbs up, so we'll go with him.
All right, so much like in the movie Bridge Over the River Kwai, where the Japanese commandant had to whip the U.S. and Canadian POWs into shape to build a bridge of fine quality and, basically utilitarian and could get the job done. The slave masters at Sapporo have made those poor schlubs at Schliemann make a perfectly acceptable sort of premium quality macro lager that is inoffensive. It balances its sweetness with its musty graininess fairly well. The smell transfers right over to the taste. Basically, you're not getting anything special. You're just getting Biru. Biru number 1, premium Crash Dragon. And for that, style-wise, I give it a 7.5. And for my personal enjoyment, I'm going to give it a 6.
Not exactly an impossible rating. Yeah, anyway, let's go over to Craig. What's your thoughts on this?
It's not too bad, you know, for the style, I'd say. I mean, I've not had a lot of, I mean, used to lagers, of course, but going through different, they're all kind of run together. And this is pretty much doing the same thing, but it's not unoffensive like one or two I've tried. It's got that sweetness that Lee's mentioned, and it follows through again. Yeah, just follows through, straight through to the taste. There's not much really else to say about it, but it's not kind of got any kind of metallic kind of taste notes or anything like that, which is always a plus when I get into this style. It's perfectly quaffable, probably more so I'd say in the summer months when it's a tad warmer. And yeah, it's not bad. I mean, I paid £2.60 for this. 650ml. I could have bought 2 for £4, but I only wanted the 1. So
yeah,
but that's, you know, and it's got quite an amusing little bit of writing on the front saying, "Discover the perfectly balanced taste of this irresistible to all, as you share rich moments with this beer masterpiece of the brewer's art." So yeah, I don't know what they're smoking there.
That's basically the Japanese businessman talking to the stripper in the hotel room.
Well,
Thank you, beach. Suck it dry.
Beer marketing written in broken English.
Yeah, so on lines of something, I'd imagine. But yeah, I mean, it's okay for the style. Pretty much similar to. I'd probably give this about a 7 for the style, and for me, about a 6.5 for overall enjoyment. So, yeah, it's okay.
Fair enough. All right, and moving over to Greg, if the beer burglar is back, which
I'm here. I'm here. Ask and you shall receive. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, unfortunately.
Okay, so I don't know. When I first drank this beer, this was my second time having it. I was absolutely hit with a blast of explosive flavor. Honestly, this beer just radiates character, and I feel both fat men and little boys could enjoy it. Every sip I take, my taste buds just surrender to the flavor of it.
Nagasaki did not Nagasaki. Fuck, I didn't see that coming. Whatever.
Yes, you did not see that coming, Nick. Anyway, basically, enough with the puns. Yeah, basically, this is just water, which I got to say, actually, I think it's pretty good for a lager, because this achieves what a lot of lagers don't, is that they actually give you a beer that tastes like water, and it has no bad flavors to it. So that's good. So for style, I think it's a good solid 7. It's nothing special, because I do like a beer with some flavor, but I think if you're looking for something that just tastes like water, this would probably be a 10 out of 10 for you, easy. Personal enjoyment, it's a 6 for me. I mean, nothing wrong with it. I could totally drink it by a pool. It doesn't offend me at all. It's certainly not shit like Molson Canadian, but that's it.
I think you were more offensive than the beer was tonight.
Well, that's right. Now stay tuned to the after chat, and you'll discover how World War II, Holocaust, and the nuclear bombs in Japan were caused by Joe.
Beer Zerker. Or beer basement Zerker or Zinger.
Gonna give this 6.75 all around. It's I don't know. It's okay. The last time I had it a few years ago, it was I don't know. There was an off flavor, and I didn't enjoy it. Tonight, it's watery, and it's just, you know, it's not offensive. So yeah, it's okay. 6.75 for both.
Nice. All right, Nash.
Okay, so again, I have the benefit of having, you know, both versions of it. So I'm going to give a sort of a review on both, because why the hell not? Because you all have to listen to me.
Yeah,
you do.
Yeah, but that would be pointless.
So actually, it's funny. both of these beers are completely different. The one from Vietnam, aroma slightly grassy. I get a little bit of corn sweetness to it, and I get a little bit of sulfur. The Sleeman version, again, it's a little grassy, but after that, it's a very clean aroma. Vietnamese one, got some grassy bitterness. I get a touch of corn sweetness, and it's sort of finishing a little sweet. Sleeman, actually, this has a different bittering component to it. This one has a more of an earthy bitterness to it, and sort of a dirtier finish, a little bit more enjoyable. Neither one of them are overly spectacular. Neither one of them are offensive. For personal enjoyment, so I'm going to give each one a score and then do the average, right? So personal enjoyment, 5 out of 5 for Vietnam, 6.5 for Sleeman. So we'll call that a 6 for personal enjoyment. For style rating, I'm going to sort of follow the same vein. 5, like this one, it just the one from Vietnam just comes across a little too sweet for me, and maybe like this can is warmed up a little bit more than this one, so I'm getting more of that artificial sweetness from it, like more of that. I know you said that they don't use corn, they use rice and maybe a little bit of malt, but I don't know, something about this the Vietnam one, I'm getting more like corn sweetness to it, like more cream of corn. So
say that they didn't use corn, they just primarily use rice as the adjunct.
Yeah, exactly. So for style, okay, so for style, I'm going to give this the Vietnam a 6. I'm going to give the Sleeman one, I'm going to give this one a 7.5 for style for a lager, because this one's not that bad. So I guess that would average out to what? 6 and 6. Oh, fuck.
6.75.
Sure, 6.75 for style. But overall, I prefer
the Sleeman one a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
The color looks a little...
I mean, color-wise, I don't know. This one is Sleeman. This one is Vietnam. I think color-wise they're both the same, but the flavors are different. They are 100% different. That's all I got. That's it. Oh, North America. There we go.
USA.
All right. And going for, last, whatever. Chad, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, we have to,
Chug, 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 chug.
Chug it, chug it, chug it, chug it.
Okay, so earthy, dirty, musty, little sweetness. It's a good lager. I'd say more Pilsner-esque than just regular lager myself. Like Ashley, I've actually always liked the Ontario brewed version more than the Asian brewed versions. Stylistically, I don't know, probably a 7.5. Personal enjoyment, 6. You got to keep in mind as well that I don't drink my beer cold. It's warm. It's been sitting on my stove since Ashley delivered it last night. No off flavors in it still. Nothing like that. It's refreshing. It does the job. Bang. Whatever.
What's your thought? What was your ratings?
What was it? I said 7.5 and a 6, I think. 7.5 as
7.5 for style, 6 for preference.
Yep.
All right. Anyway, Chad's last comment there kind of pokes holes in my argument, but fuck it, I'm going to make the argument anyway. I almost feel like as it warms up, yeah. What? I almost feel like as it warms up, it starts to take on like a different kind of, that aftertaste gets dirtier and maybe a little bit more cardboardy. Other than that, it's actually a pretty solid, easy drinking lager that goes down pretty easy, and it's not very offensive at all. It's not my favorite, but I don't mind it. I almost, when it comes back to thinking of what Sapporo was like when I first drank it many, many moons ago, I almost like, it almost seemed like out of the big iron cans, the solid aluminum cans, it almost felt like it was a crisper, easier drinking, like a nice, drier, lighter finish, more evaporative finish that's kind of just disappeared in your throat. Whereas this one here, I give it more of a lingering, dirty aftertaste after drinking this one, which I'm not big fan on, but looking back at it, I think my overall thoughts are going to be about the same. I'm going to give it 7 for the for style, because it's not bad, especially for an adjunct lager. It's like right up there in the middle of the pack. As far as personal enjoyment, though, just going to stick with a 3 out of 5 or a 6 out of 10. Nice story. Sticking to it. All right, so that's my thoughts. Jamie's going to do the numbers up tonight, and might as well get Lee to read the last 2 comments. Last 3.
Okay, sorry, I was in another tab. Eric Gilbert says he's never had Sapporo, apparently. He did have a Rickards Red and a dirty glass during a fish and chip takeout order at a bar down the street. I feel sorry for you, sir. Rating on Your Parade says for $3.99, it's not on the list to buy. Would much rather go with Warsteiner. Nothing wrong with it. Much better than USA macros, but not worth the price. Eric Gilbert says for the price, I would grab a Beck's or Pilsner Urquell. Rating on Parade says I think they should put this beer at a normal can and charge like $1.99 to $2.99. That seems reasonable to me. And Beer Burglar and Rating on Your Parade both ask, what's next week's beer?
All right, next week's beer is, we'll get to that after we do the ratings, but for the time being, does anybody want to make any shoot the shit while I'm trying to do up the graphics?
Mitsuharu Mitsuwa Lariato Takamichinoku.
Oh, Mr. Sparkle.
Mr. Spaku, clean number 1.
So,
Premium Crash Grab.
so
I would almost rather this can be just flat, so it costs a little less than this rings.
yeah,
I
actually,
think all the money's in the fancy design.
yeah, I don't. They did not have to emboss that can.
No.
It's unnecessary.
That was by decree of Hirohito.
No. Hey Lee, on your review earlier, did you actually mix that sake type spirit with any juice afterwards?
No, I just downed that little bit that I had. So I started off the night with basically like a shot worth of 30% grain alcohol.
There you go.
Nice.
Why not?
Yeah. But the rest of it, I'm definitely mixing because I'm not going to waste it by just.
Yeah, there's no need to waste it.
Should never drain pour anything. Just find a way to disguise it and still get yourself drunk.
Exactly.
It's funny because I got it from a friend who's in the military, so he doesn't know anything about booze at all. He just is like, every time he gets called off to go somewhere, he's like, "I'll get you something, man. It'll be great. I'll get you something." All right.
Cool.
It's like if you see any Japanese whiskey there, maybe pick me up some of that. And he comes back with this like variant of sake that's distilled instead of fermented.
Interesting, yeah.
Just
Instead of brewed.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, the thought counts.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, I mean, I'm gonna have a good night with that shit. So
just mix it with some of that mimosa fruit.
Mimosa fruit is probably what we're gonna do.
Oh man, who doesn't want to mix something with mimosa fruit?
I've been watching a certain guy's channel, and he has all the information on mimosa fruit, where to get it, best place to buy it.
Mixes well with pickles, no?
Yeah, well, I mean, pickles are a variation of mimosa fruit. They're just pickled. That's all.
Isn't it National Pickle Day today too?
It
that
is,
we should be
yeah.
celebrating.
Lee, you'll have to send me that channel because I think next year I'm going to start a garden and I'd like to grow some mimosa fruit.
Well, you see, and you see, they have a very expansive garden as well. Although they have to keep the fraggles out of it.
Yeah.
Look, Mom,
fraggles are a pest.
Oh, look, wow.
Wait, that's not the same channel where I can get great relationship advice, right? From someone
Oh, it
who's
is.
in a
And
long-term relationship.
You can also learn that mental problems aren't real.
Well,
God,
we all know that.
Mm.
Really?
You're not really depressed. You just have to smile more, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Smile and take some vitamin D. It'll be fine.
your mental advice consists of grin and bear it. Fuck you.
Like Slipknot on Mel, you know.
And by the way, Slipknot's the best metal band ever.
Yeah.
I almost cried listening to that song.
Better than Metallica?
Oh, way better than Metallica, guys.
Yeah, well, Limp Bizkit is number one.
I was just going to say that. When it comes to Metallica, that nothing else matters.
But it's just been one of those days.
Nick, you're just a puppet.
Master of puppets.
Jesus, are you done yet, Nick?
Oh my god, just give me a second.
Nick, your
here.
math
I'm
sucks.
almost done.
Much like when a Japanese samurai commits harikari and he has someone to witness him and
All
chop
right,
his head
I
off.
really-
Things
I
are going
seriously need
rolling,
it.
rolling, rolling, rolling.
I didn't realize you were such a Limp Bizkit early.
I take pills for it now.
All right. We're getting down to Sapporo.
Yay!
There we go. There's our final graphic.
Premium number 1.
Premium number 7.1 and overall 6.2.
Yeah.
Thank you, beach. Suck it dry.
Yes. Konnichiwa.
What's all that?
By the way, I just want to state I love the people of Japan, and all of that was not done in racism. It was done in good fun.
Sir, sounded like racism.
Although, fuck you people for World War II.
All right.
Damn
Now,
that.
what was that?
That didn't come out right.
Yeah, okay, before Greg says anything bad, this is next week's beer. We're actually going to do Labatt Blue.
Oh, Jesus, I ain't going to be around.
Yeah, well...
You really
How
should try
are-
and get the Reverend to join.
How are we going to try and be
well,
racist
you know,
against that?
I don't have him on Facebook, but if you want to...
Is he a big fan of it, Chad?
Yeah.
Kind of. He's actually kind of a chat.
The guy probably has fucking stocks in the company.
He'll just give it a 10 out of 10 and be like, "I'm out, bitches."
I've had this can for a while now, and I've been saving it for a beer analysis 101 because I don't
you've
ever want to
aged
buy
it.
it again.
Why would you save that? Hopefully you were putting it on
It's
the
Stellar
windowsill.
No, it's been in the fridge.
God.
He aged
Anyway.
it.
Aged,
Well-
cellar aged.
Well, now that I've
All right.
consumed 1.25 liters of this fucking Sapporo, thanks, guys. It's awesome.
Holy shit! One day
We
need
didn't
to-
make
we
you
need to
do it.
I know.
to analyze Chilada one of these days.
Oh, God.
I think Lee might still have the video of me being torture porn by Joe into drinking like 2 liters of that shit.
Might still have it somewhere,
Oh.
Ugh. It would be fun sometime just to, like... Do a month where we just do like the shittiest of those fucking chiladas possible and just see what we think. But
Hey, we did Facts 10%. I still think we have a couple 10% shitty beer store beers that we can do that are probably accessible to most.
Just so you guys know, Rating on Your Parade is not happy with our selection for next week. So,
well, I mean, if Ewart was here, he'd probably tell him to go fuck
I'm
himself.
kind of looking at this as get it fucking over with, and also next Wednesday is the last Wednesday before the Grey Cup, which this beer was kind of created as a tie-in with the Grey Cup, so it's important.
So
yeah.
it's a whole week of suck, basically, is what you're saying.
Ashley, did you find a single of the Moosehead Pale
you can get it at the beer store, yes.
as a single?
Yes. Yeah. Don't buy the case.
No, I wasn't.
Take it from
not
me.
going to.
Don't
Okay.
buy the case.
I can get that. Which is bizarre.
You can get that?
When you say pale. And the lager.
Well, I also just saw that you got Barking Squirrel.
That was from ages ago.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the one I had, and then it got moved, and then I was in London that week. So I just drank it when I got back. Done a review.
No. If somehow some of the 10-penny showed up in Britain, that would be something to do.
That'd be cool. I wonder if they're going to get 10-penny in
Ontario
or something, because that would be a great beer analysis.
It's not even in Ontario yet.
I would imagine it's coming soon because I think they're expanding production.
Oh, really? Eh?
Well, I'm not sure. I know that it's in Nova Scotia now.
Yeah.
Well, now you're speaking out of both sides of your mouth, man. Which one is it?
I'm assuming because it's in Nova Scotia that it might see like distribution across the country or something. Knowing Moosehead.
Pick a story, narc. What are you, some sort of narc?
Okay.
By the way, I found the video of me drinking 2 liters of Chilada. If anyone wants to
We'll watch that. Maybe we can watch that on the after chat.
No,
Yeah,
that
we
was actually
do that.
off.
And
That was
you
actually
can.
off.
What?
That was actually offline, and I think Lee actually just filmed it with his camera off
Yeah,
his screen.
I think it was either my camera or I filmed it with OBS, one or the other. I can't remember.
Okay. Anyway, I think we're gonna head off. We'll do an after chat after this, and there'll be a whole lot less racism, I guess, against.
No, there
no,
will not be.
No,
Oh,
we're just gonna add